Hey, what's happening, you guys? Welcome back. It is now time to dive into your weekly habit. Remember, there's 12 weekly habits that we're going to be going over. Each one is going to be stacking on top of each other to be able to help you get to metabolic flexibility. And so let's dive right in. Week one is structure. Emily, what is our weekly habit?
Our weekly habit is to be in bed for 8 hours. It's okay if you're not sleeping that entire time, right? The goal is to get there so our body knows, okay, we're trying to sleep, right? Whether you have kids, it's hard for you to fall asleep at times. We understand, right? But the goal is to be in bed for those 8 hours. Eventually, we might find 7.5 hours, or no, I need 9 or 9.5 hours.
Right.
We're starting with the 8 hours. And the best way for us to get that time is to, again, write down your ideal wake up time. Write down that time, 8 hours behind it. That's when you need to be in bed. Again, lights out, screens off, everything. So that's it in a nutshell. That's all we're focusing on.
Will you give an example? Give an example schedule.
So if you want to be waking up at 6 a.m., count back 8 hours, and that's going to be 10 p.m. The absolute latest, you're in bed by 10 p.m.
Got you. And by being able to do this, we're creating regularity in our sleep schedule. And people talk about this quite often. And I don't know if they actually understand it. They talk about hormone health. My hormones are off. What's one of the number one ways that we can balance hormones?
Be consistent with our bedtimes and wake up times.
There it is, you guys. If you want better hormone health, mind blown, go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time. This is what signals your brain to release hormones at the appropriate time instead of the wrong times. This is where those crashes will come in the evening. Or, hello, 3 o'clock wake up call. Anybody raise their hand? Oh, you probably are right now. That's because we're dysregulated in our hormones. Go to sleep at the same time, wake up at the same time. It doesn't take long, you guys. Try to do this for 7 days. Yes, you're going to roll into the weekend. Still try to put yourself to bed by 10 o'clock and just see how it works rolling into the next week. Do you agree?
Agreed. Definitely worth it to try it out and see how it fits for you.
Perfect. Now, we're going to now give you guys our pro coaches tip. What we literally do in our household to be able to apply this weekly habit. So, Emily, I'll let you go first.
Yeah. So I talked about it. I have two parts. This one part is I have to make sure I eat dinner on time. If my dinner's pushed out, that extends my nightly routine, which eventually leads to a later bedtime. That's number one. Number two is light exposure. Immediately after I put my son to bed, which is around 7:30, I put my blue light blocking glasses on that are orange tinted. So that's multiple ways of blocking that light. And then I also use my Casper portable light instead of overhead lights. Whenever I walk into a new room, I do not turn the switch on. I use my little portable flashlight. It's not a flashlight. That's what I call it. You can be super dim. It could be extra bright.
Yeah.
Right? That's the point. So I have my glasses on and I have very minimal light exposure in general.
Beautiful.
What do you do?
I do something very similar. I have a light as well. I set it an hour before bed. It dims until it goes off an hour later. And then how I signal to myself it's time to wind down is I light a candle. Lighting the candle, one, candles don't affect your circadian rhythm and the release of your melatonin. And the habit of lighting the candle then pushes me into my nighttime routine of reading or stretching. If I'm stretching, I'm doing some breath work. That helps me to work on that biggest nerve of calming down, breathing, getting sleepy, or reading. And usually when I read, I try to read fictional books so that it is more of in my imagination instead of like self-help books, which I'd also like reading. But doing that late at night can wind up your brain. So be careful with that. So those are our two pro tips when it comes to the weekly habit. Again, the weekly habit is
8 hours in bed.
There it is, you guys. Simple and easy are not the same thing. Structure it to make it happen. You will see that this is going to be a huge, huge thing. Anything else, Coach?
No, that's it. Let's get after it.
Let's get after it. We'll see you guys in the next video.